All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight, as per usual. Thank you. Let's see. All right, guys, thank you for the 5 by 5 Sandra, Maverick, Jordan, thank you for the 5 by 5 Cat Girl, Loretta, Brian, Uptech, Dow, Joe, thank you for the 5 by 5 Bush Pig, Ozark, Flown Grown, Keeble, Ed, Nora, Maria, Groundhog, thank you for the 5 by 5 Adobe, Raccoon, JR, Idaho, WTC, Murder, Michelle, Adam, 1 second, Grit and Gray, Steel, Chris, Bernard, Let's Go, thank you for 5 by 5 Cooking, South Florida, South Shore, Melissa, Carrie, thank you for 5 by 5 Master Blaster, Bernadette, Danny, Mary, The Warden, thank you for 5 by 5 Mary Luck, Dan Phillips, Mark, Isaac the Hermit, Prep to Adapt, Christopher, thank you for 5 by 5 Swamp Donkey, Nick, Mateo, Sean, Chris, Pamela, Welder, thank you for 5 by 5 SR, Kit, Just Jay, and Freedom, thank you for the 5 by 5 Buy the Book, thank you for the 5 by 5 Rock Valley, On Esther, Angryprepper. All right, guys. We're 84, you're 5 by 5 Roger that, man. Thank you. So, tonight, we're going to be talking about what we were supposed to talk about Tuesday night, but instead I went into my crackhead story, or shooting gallery, or crack house, whatever you want to call it. But clearly, guys, again, there's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of the nonsense. I know that the EU and not the United Nations, I think it is the United Nations, right? Somebody in the EU is falling apart, and it's because of the whole Ukraine-Russia thing. Russia, like I mentioned last week, they're talking about training their soldiers to use tactical nukes on the battlefield, so that it looks like they're going to be expanding their, I guess, war efforts, a strategy. So we shall see what that's going to turn into. Crack story time. But yeah. So again, a lot going on, especially what's going on, or the rioting that's going on in the UK. I haven't looked up any updates on it, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to be rocking and rolling for a while. They are protecting the migrants there over the British citizens, which is bullshit. The migrants there are attacking smaller groups of Brits and not the bigger groups. And I've seen a couple videos, and I'm like, of course, cowards. They wait till you're by yourself or in a smaller group, and their group outnumbers yours by double, and they jump you. It's normally how it goes. Never been that one guy. Everyone in the EU is falling apart. Yeah, Joe FW, but it was something else I read last week. I can't keep track of all the shit that I'm reading, but I think I saved the article. I think I did. I'm not quite sure. Give me a second to pull it up. But not that. Well, this article is a little more important, but I'll get to that in a second. It was something about the EU and a couple of countries falling apart because of like what's going on. But whatever. Surprisingly. So, also, we'll probably talk about it on the Angry Truth channel, but I came across an article on how to remove microplastic from your drinking water, being that that's like the hot topic right now. We'll discuss that later tonight. But while I have your attention on this other matter, Israel cannot be saved from annihilation. This is according to the Iranian army commander. Now, I stumbled across this article yesterday by accident. I don't know what I was looking up, but for whatever... Oh, no, I saw it on Reddit. It's by the Jerusalem Post. So, again, it's the Jerusalem Post. You got to take that with a grain of salt when we are hearing these stories, guys, because the problem with all the stories we're hearing, Everything that's out in the open right now, everything that's is in the media, you don't know who to believe. Everybody's lying, and that's the unfortunate thing about misinformation and disinformation is that everyone's lying. So it's easy to remove in actuality. Yeah, I didn't know it was that simple. Like, it's really simple. I'm just like, holy shit. But I don't want to get sidetracked. That's why I'm going to leave it for the Angry Truth channel. But anyway, let's get this article out of the way. So again, we believe that this is, you know what? Give me a second. First here to take break bowls and take name. You mean all media doesn't tell the truth? Yeah, really. I mean, that's why you got to, again, I take everything with a grain of salt. Like, unless I was there in the situation, like, there's certain things that happen, and then, like, we'll see it reported in the Daily News and New York Post, and then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's bullshit. That didn't happen, that fire, and that's not what we do at fires. It's like the media. They always embellish. Always. They never tell the story as is. It doesn't matter what it is, they'll embellish it. Like, if I tell my crackhead story again, they'll undoubtedly embellish that. But I try the footage of Israelis raping is lying. Joseph, listen, here's the problem, and I'm not making light of it, but I feel a joke coming on. The problem with the Israeli raping stories is that in war, everyone rapes. It's just how it is. And I don't agree with it, and I'm not saying that we should condone it. Not at all. Not at all. But it happens in every war. So when people like the Israelis are raped, so are the Palestinians, so are the Hamas, all of those soldiers. We watched a lot of those girls. Not watched, but there was one video circulating of Israeli girls getting violated after October 7th, right? So there's a lot of this violation shit going on. Nobody is innocent in that realm. Nobody. To sit there and act like the Israelis are the only group of dudes that rape women is fucking stupid. Everybody does it. Right now, as we speak in Africa, they probably have a rape party going on. They're probably lining chicks up and picking them out and going to war with them. It is, and it sucks that it's that way, but that's what it is. So to sit there and act like the Israelis are the only one, come on, grow up. People like, they're supposed to be better. I'm pretty sure our military does. Not pretty sure. I can bet my paycheck our military does it as well. They do it to their own. Whether that's the Marines, the Army, the Israeli military, the Russian military, everybody does it to their own and outside of that. So that's what it is. Someone just said what I was saying. But of course, wait, they rape each other? Freaky. Oh, well, the USA. Oh, listen, quick story. I'm not going to go on a tangent, I promise. But when I was in EMS, I picked up a girl. And she had psych issues. And apparently, it was seizures. Sorry, she was having seizures, which I guess you can equate to psych issues, but her mental status would change. And when I mean change, her personality would change. I'm sorry. And she'd be talking to you, and all of a sudden she'd be like, and then she'd be a different person. And it was like a seizure with the personality disorder kind of deal. You think only women are getting raped right now? Sean, I'm pretty sure everyone's getting raped. Men, women, kids, animals, dogs, cats, you name it. If you can fuck it, it's getting raped, Then anyway, so talking to her, she was in the Navy. And her mother said when she came back, she was different. And I pulled her mother to the side. I'm like, you think, something happened to her? And she was like, I think so, but she's not saying anything. She's not talking to us. I said, that sucks. And you could see, she had her military picture, the Navy military picture, and the Marines and the Army. Hers is Navy, and she was dressed in very pretty girl, young too. At the time, I think she was a little older than me, but by 2-3 years. But nonetheless, she had these issues, and she developed them over there. Now, the other side of that coin is she did work on a battleship, and she could have been, what is that? There's an exposure there, I think, from the gas, the jet fuel. That could have also been the case. But the mother swears that she was, so there is that. So again, guys, it happens. And I'm not condoning it. It's just, what are we going to do about it, right? I mean, just short of cutting dudes' dicks off and throwing them in a brig, there's not much you can do about it. And when I talk about these things, people are like, no, they don't. I'm like, all right, man, listen, keep your eyes closed and your ears closed too while you're at it. But anyway, so that's the raw. I'm sorry I got into that rant, but someone's like, the Israeli military, all militaries, guys, they do fucked up shit. It's just what it is. We can't explain it. You can't explain it away. I mean, from the beginning of civilization to now, it will always be a thing. They're just gonna fucking be dudes violating chicks left and right. It's just what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. We can't cry about it. We can't kumbaya it. You can't make it go away. It's just nothing that can be done. Unfortunately, I mean, listen, something can be done, but people have to put their shit on the line to do it. Mateo, I got a video coming out about the bad feeling. And it was something I saw yesterday or 2 days ago, and something I saw today, and I was like, uh-oh. Nope, not good. Not at all. And yeah, man. Not good with what's coming. And I think what's coming is something we didn't see coming. If that makes sense. But anyway, let me finish this article about the annihilation of the Jews. Oh no, no more bagel and lox. They're going to kill them all. We believe that this child-killing Israel regime is near its end. History shows that anyone who rules with oppression will not remain in power and will be annihilated ASAP. Sort of a vaguish kind of threat. Israel will soon be met with a strong and defiant response to the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. Chief commander of the Iranian army, Abraham Lincoln, I don't know how to say his name, I'm not even going to play myself, said Wednesday, according to the Iranian news site. According to the IFP News, Mousavi, that's his last name, was speaking at a ceremony commemorating Journalist Day, I didn't know that, Bandar Abbas, at Port City in southern Iran. The Zionist regime will soon receive a strong and defiant response, and there is no doubt about it, Mousavi reportedly said. It is clear that they themselves have realized the speed of their own destruction, and by doing so, they have saved themselves from the quagmire. But they definitely cannot save themselves from annihilation. Yeah. Mousavi also praised the appointment of Yahya Sinwar, as the new political head of the Hamas on Tuesday. According to the IRNA, Mousavi called Sinwar a great combatant in the contemporary era, and continued to say that his appointment as Haniyeh's replacement means that Israel will have no hope for its own future and will collapse. Now, for this to happen, I can all but doubt they're going to do something really bad. Again, I won't be surprised what happens next. Earlier on Wednesday, General Mousavi met with the commander of the Belarusian Air Force, Andrei Lukyanovich, to discuss ties between the country's IRNA and Tasmin news report. Mousavi reportedly thanked Minsk for its courageous and independent stance on the assassination of Haniyeh and its defensive position against the expansion of NATO. That's what I meant to say. It was NATO that's falling apart right now. Sorry. The EU section of NATO or whatever it was, that's who's falling apart because of the whole Ukraine-Russian war. Both countries allegedly agree on their stance against the U.S. ultralateralism. Unilateralism, sorry. Woof. My brains is fried today. Anyway, so according to Tasmin, that's a newspaper, Lujanovic also met with Iranian Armed Forces Commander Brigadier General Aziz Nazardeh and Iranian Air Force Commander Brigadier General Hamid Valdi. Brigadier General Valdi told the Belarusian counterpart that all regional tensions were at fault of the U.S. and Israel. I love how Israel does something and the U.S. gets dragged right into it. Like, they're just like, yo, you saw what the Israeli did? Yeah, fuck the United States. You're like, what? Granted, I get it that we have part in this, but they always drag us into it. They're like, yo, did you see that bomb that went off over in Israel? Yeah, we did that. Fuck the United States. They're like, why? Anyway. Supposedly, guys, they're going to annihilate Israel ASAP as soon as possible. It'll be another month before they do something, or within the week. But if they don't do it within the week, they're not going to do it at all. Brig. Is it Brigadier? Right? It is Brigadier, not Brigadier. Sorry. It's Brigadier General. Anyway. That's not good if that's their response. I don't know how bad that's gonna turn out, but if they do what I think they're gonna do, it's not gonna be bad. So, that being said, let's move on to the next thing. So, they're gonna respond ASAP. They're getting other people in line with them. They're talking about Belarusian military getting involved. That's not good. So this can definitely spiral out of control. Though we've been, Calamity Girl, what's going on? Though we've been noticing this for the last few months. Brigadier. Nice one. Right? That makes sense now. And I knew it, and then thinking about it, I'm like, it is Brigadier General. Why did I say Brigadier? Anyway, what you all have for dinner? I ate like an asshole today, like a pauper, like poor and shit. Like, oh, feed me with a ham and cheese sandwich with roaches on it. I didn't have that. Somebody did mention that, but anyway. So, guys, what's going on in the UK? How bad will it get here? When Kamala Harris wins, how bad do you think the United States is going to get? And do you think, more importantly, Kamala Harris is going to sell the United States out? I mean, sell us out. Not like what Obama did or what Clinton was going to do, Hillary. Do you think she's going to outright sell us out? Social engineering. The Bronx dialect, man. Yeah, you're probably right. Catfish and rice. I ate chopped meat and rice, like that diet I'm on. Had that for lunch, had that for dinner, and now I'm hungry. And it's only fucking 9 o'clock, 9:20. Fucking starving. Yeah, and with that the vice president running with her, this stuff's starting to come out about him, and it's just fucking whoop right over everybody's head. No one cares. The DUI thing is not the end of the world. I mean, they got to go after something hard. If they're like, oh, this politician had a DUI, I don't care. I really do not give a shit for the DUIs. That doesn't mean anything. There has to be something a little more serious, like they were touching kids or fucking, masturbating to veggie porn. I don't know, something really fucking bad. That's what they need to do. But yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Ravioli and grilled cheese. Who the fuck are you? And why would you have that? Ravioli and grilled cheese? That's savagery, man. Holy shit. Anyway, so guys, Hundreds of far-right protesters clashed with outside the migrant hotel. I think I read that story last week. A bunch of Brits surrounded the hotel. They broke some glass. They yelled and screamed. They shook their fists. I think they threw fucking, fish and chips at them. I don't know. Like, I saw the video. It didn't look that intimidating. I thought I heard people in the background like screaming and shit because they were breaking the hotel glass. I think the hotel was like a Hilton or Howard Johnson or something like that. And now they surrounded with cops, and I think there's a fence around the hotel now. Anyway, I talked about the reason why the Brits are upset, or what sparked it was that one of those migrants went around knifing a couple of kids. As someone said, it was 9 kids and 3 of them died, right? But this is the story right here. Hundreds of far-right protesters clashed with police outside illegal immigrant hotel, in a violent scene in the UK. Hundreds of far-right protesters clashed with police after staging demonstrations outside of the hotel. Picture shows a crowd of England flag-waving protesters outside the Holiday Inn in Rottingham, South Yorks in the UK. Baklava-wearing protesters drank beer and shouted slogans as officers lined the streets outside the hotel where asylum seekers were housed. I love how they make these. I mean, and granted, no, fuck them. They're not innocent. They're not at all. They broke the law to get here. They're not innocent. But sorry, trying to keep up with the chat. Yeah, like the veggie porn thing. I'll explain that later. Because I noticed somebody said something a while ago in a movie, and I'm like, wait, what? People do that? So that's why I mentioned it. Sorry. You didn't hear about Tim Walsh drinking horse semen? No. And I don't want to. Why are people bringing that up? But anyway. Right? Beer and a protest? That's a great combination. Anyway. One man in camouflage khaki pants. There's no such thing, but alright. Camouflage khaki pants held a large plaque that said, Enoch Powell, 1968, Rivers of Blood, Social Unrest, 3 kids murdered, who's next? The protest comes as a wave of violence disorder sweeps the UK in the wake of the murder of 3 young girls in Southport, Merseyside, if I said that right. Another placard being waved outside the Holiday Inn. Stopping the boat means stopping the stabbings. Another read, men don't flee war. There is no war in France. Similar scenes were also evident outside Potter's International Hotel and another spot in the UK. One placard said, no more squatters staying at Potter's. No more squatters staying at Potter's. All right. While another read, House Brits on waiting list. Now, they had a problem here with vets. Now, they didn't kick vets out of a hotel, but they are preventing American citizens and vets from getting housing because of the migrants. That's here in New York. No one wants to talk about that bullshit, right? Those fucking pages are being stuck together. So, this is why they're pissed. But they keep calling anyone who doesn't agree with them far right. So it doesn't matter what it is. You guys can get into the debate about who has the best cheeseburger. You go against their word, or you don't agree with them, you're far right leaning. So the term far right is going to be attached to every last one of us that doesn't side with them. That being said, there is the theory or the talk of Kamala Harris rounding us up if push comes to shove. It is why I ask, you think she would sell us out completely? Because for that to happen and for them to round us up, you're going to have a civil war right out of the gates. To prevent the civil war, though, you can do it a little bit at a time. Meaning you start putting certain members in jail a little bit at a time. So you take 20 people and you throw them in jail for some bullshit. And you keep doing that like actually Hitler did with the Jews. He was putting them away a little bit at a time. Had he went full retard with them, the Jews would have fought back. But because he was doing it in increments, and then the rumor mill started, do you hear that they're building camps for us? And of course, that was in the beginning stages of when they were building the camps. And they waited so long to react, it was too late for them to react, and then you saw what happened. So we have to keep abreast of what's going on, because this is only going to get worse. Whatever the hell it is, whatever the hell's going on, whoever is leading the way for her, it's only going to get worse. And people are not going to like what happens next. And therefore, this is where the division and standing together comes into talk. Now, on the Angry Truth channel, we're going to talk about, are you ready to go to jail? Because what I see coming, or the possibility of something happening that leads us in that direction. And that's pretty much what I'm talking about now. We're going to talk about it a little in depth, but we're going to talk about what they're doing to keep us apart. Because if we start seeing through the bullshit and stop taking sides, we can get together and we can get this country back from them. Meanwhile, they keep telling us Trump is going to end this country. And people are believing it. People are believing a lie. Trump was president for 4 years and the country did not fall apart. We're still here. Biden's in office and the country's falling apart. But they said that he was going to start war and all this other bullshit. And now that he's running again, they're repeating the same shit like parrots. They're like, well, he's going to start more wars. I think there were more conflicts started on the Not I think. There was more conflicts started on the Biden than Trump, Obama, and the Clinton combined. And I said the Clintons because Hillary was also the president. Who are we kidding? The bitch is calling the shot. Well, Susan, they don't put criminals in jail. They put people in jail who stand up against them. At least they're going to start doing that. In the UK, they're doing that now. I've seen numerous videos of police coming to people's homes because they made a post on social media. I thought that was a lie. I watched a few videos. I'm like, this is real. These people have no rights. They have no Second Amendment. Oh, I'm sorry, First Amendment. Their shit's taken away from them. You post something and the cops are showing it up at your home because, as the female cop put it in the video I saw 2 days ago, you disturbed a couple people and she angered? I think she said it. She said you angered a couple people and the post wasn't liked. So we have to take you in for questioning. I'm like, yo, fist fight it is. I would take it to a whole new level. You're not taking me in for questioning on a post. You pull me over and you say we got to take you in for a post, we're getting into a fist fight. We're going to turn a situation like this into a full-blown nuclear attack. Because why not? At that point, when they start telling you what you can and can't say, it's time to fucking go to war. Thankfully, to live in a right state to carry. Yeah, well, New York you can carry now, but they're breaking balls. They're doing some bullshit here in New York, by the way. About, like, carrying and stopping guys and canceling their full carry permits with no judge just saying, yeah, we're going to cancel it. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing some bullshit now. People are getting full carries. Cops are pulling you over. If you have a gun on you, they're suspending your shit on the spot. They take you in, they submit your permit, and then your permit's canceled. And to get it back is entirely almost impossible, what you call it. But that was going on. I was speaking to a kid that it happened to. He was, and he's a fireman at that. He had a full carry, and the cops somehow noticed the bulge on him, and they stopped him. He showed the cops he's a fireman. He showed them his carry permit. They put cuffs on him. They took him to Brooklyn. They told him his full carry was suspended, and then they told him to go home. Just like that. That fast. Not that fast. I think he spent a couple of hours downtown. But the Brooklyn cops didn't want anything to do with that. But those fucking cops that locked them up, I'm like, yo, you remember their names? Because I said, I see them, I'm breaking balls. I'm breaking balls. I said, enough already with the fucking cops not going after criminals, but here is a city firefighter with a full carry permit and they sat there and they broke his balls. And they took his gun away, and then they took his permit away. But you can run into a store right now and snatch everything off the shelves, and you're good to go. But yeah, talking about getting into a fist fight, I'd have been rolling around on the ground with those 2 cops. It would have been a full-on 1013. Or 1085, excuse me. Big Chase, they were on some bullshit. And meanwhile, the Brooklyn cops, when he got to the precinct, they were like, we're not touching this. We're not putting our names on this. They didn't want to touch that file with a 10-foot pole. They were like, that's fucking bullshit what they did. These 2 cops did what they did. Yo, we would be rolling around the fucking ground. No, it was 2 NYPD. But I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, you fucking kidding me? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I don't even know what to do. I said, you're going to have to hire a lawyer. I said, unfortunately, you're going to have to hire a lawyer, which is going to cost you more money, but you got to find out what happened. One Police Plaza canceled this shit, apparently. So, matter of fact, there's somebody I can talk to One Police Plaza. Yeah, Hudson Valley, but his permit was valid in New York City. Which is crazy. After they passed that new thing, it was valid. He got a valid permit. He went through the whole fucking paperwork, the steps, everything. Just for 2 cops to be like, yo. Yeah, Kaiser, I don't know why those 2, and they were Bronx cops at that. Like, that's the craziest shit. You can expect that shit from Manhattan cops, maybe even Queens cops, but not Bronx and Brooklyn cops. Like, really not. Staten Island cops, I can definitely see that shit. Midtown cops, absolutely. Up here, maybe not. But Bronx, in the thick of the shit, that was bullshit. I don't have, like I said, I have no problems fucking cursing out a cop. I will curse them out in a fucking drop of a hat. I support them and I'll back them up when they need it, but when they cross the line with us, I got no fucking problems fucking rolling around on the ground. Like zero. Because it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. They're not upholding anything. They're creating a problem. Meanwhile, migrants are fucking carrying firearms into migrant hotels inside of their Grubhub bags. That's okay. But a law-abiding city worker is getting his balls broken by cops. That's bullshit. Someone says Staten Island cops, no. No? All right. But yeah, so anyway, let me get on with this story before I lose track and start getting annoyed and pissed off. All right, so the far-right anti-immigration riot persists across the entire UK. Over the past few days, UK has been battered with widespread riots by hundreds of, again, far-right protesters. All right, the violent rallies began on Tuesday night following a deadly incident where 3 young girls were stabbed, several others were wounded at a children's dance and yoga class in northwest England. The attack has triggered Islamophobic and anti-immigration sentiments in the UK. I like how they go Islamophobia. Islamophobic. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as Islamophobic. There really isn't. But anyway. Leading to hundreds of arrests, dozens of officers injured, and multiple buildings being damaged and cars being burned in the whole yards, including a mosque and a hotel known for housing asylum seekers. The riots entered its 6th day on Sunday and showed no signs of waning whatsoever. What triggered the riots? I already said it. 3 girls, Bebe King, Elsie Dot Stancombe, 7, and Alice, I can't pronounce her last name, 9. So 6, 7, and 9 years old were killed. 10 more were injured, including 8 children, 2 adults. The police arrested a 17-year-old male at the scene, but initially withheld his name because he was under the age of 18. That was a false rumor began to spread online, claiming that an asylum seeker was behind the attack. The suspect, publicly named by police as Alex, a Muslim last name, was born in Wales. Nonetheless, he was an child of immigrant. On Tuesday, rioters stormed the streets in Southport, targeted a local mosque. In a statement, Southport Mosque said Members of its congregation locked themselves inside while individuals hurled petrol bottles and bricks at the building, according to the Myerside police. 53 officers sustained injuries in the clash. Now, keep this in mind, guys. When officers get injured, it could be a paper cut or it can be serious. So, the guy who got a legitimate gash on his head is compared to the guy that fucking stubbed his toe on driftwood chasing after an assailant. I hate when they do that. That drives me insane when they do that shit. Well, there were 13 cops that were injured. 3 of them ran into each other. 2 of them fucking tripped and hit their head, and then like maybe the other 5 legitimately got hurt wrestling a guy. Right? But they always do that shit. Anyway, on Tuesday night, rioters stormed the streets in Southport targeting a local mosque. Now, again, the kid is Muslim, but he's not. He wasn't a migrant. But it doesn't matter. It started with them, and it's going to end with them. Again, also to keep in mind that this is part of the division they want. Instead of attacking each other, they should be attacking the local officials for the amount of shit that's going on. And that's monetary shit that's going on. All of the taxes, all of the tolls, all of the fines, every little way they look to fuck the working person, but then give the person who's not making any money all of the fucking earnings that we made through way of taxes. That's what we should be fighting. But they don't want to do that. They want to bicker, scream, and argue with one another. So, which towns and city have been affected? Beyond Southport, demonstrations flared up across England, including Manchester, Hartlepool, Liverpool, Bristol, and London, as well as Northern Ireland's capital, Belfast, over the following days. On Sunday, some 700 rioters surrounded a Holiday Inn Express in Rotterdam, which is known as the asylum seekers' housing. Windows were broken, and a flaming trash bin was thrown at the building, but not inside the building. In Belfast, a cafe, supermarket, and several cars were in flames following protests Saturday night. The Irish Times report. People attacked this place. Racism against Islam and Muslims, especially Muslim community, the supermarket manager told the newspaper. Again, these people are bringing it upon themselves. And people who keep defending this group of people, they're going to pay the hard way. In Whitehall, near the gates of Downing Street, 111 people were arrested on Wednesday night. 5 officers were injured by bottle and other objects that were thrown at them. They call it airmail. Whenever you throw something at a police officer, at least here in the United States, we call it airmail. I don't know what they call it there. Well, I was unsubscribed too. Yeah, they always unsubscribe people. I notice that I take a dip after a controversial video, or it just drops, and then YouTube will say, "Oh, well, it dropped because a lot of channels are inactive." All right. Meanwhile, Mr. Beast and his diddling case, and they protect that dude. You know that you can't talk about the whole Mr. Beast, Chris, situation. You're not allowed to talk about it, and if you do, you get demonetized. If you go heavy-handed, you get a strike. So go figure that. Smash the like. Thank you. Number 10 Downing Street is Prime Minister's. Oh, okay, that's why. I was like, why do they care about Downing Street? Now that makes sense. Craig, thank you for that. Yeah, Calamity Girl. That it's an up and down. It's a roller coaster ride. Don't worry about it. It comes and goes in waves. You'll lose some, you'll gain some, and not because people are not because people are unsubscribing. It's some bullshit YouTube is doing. Quit your yawning. I don't know. I just got insanely tired just now. Like, I can go to sleep right now. Holy shit. Anyway. with all of that happening over there in the UK, with all of that happening with the Brits, the Muslims, and even in Ireland, what's going on with the migrants, the illegal immigrants there. You have illegal immigrants in Italy also. You have France, Japan, China. They're cleaning house over there. The Russians, they have a migration problem too. Everybody's having a migration problem. Seems like first world countries are having migration problems because everybody's leaving the third world countries. But yeah, insanity, man. Insanity. So, with all of that being said, there is increased talk here in the United States of a civil war. They keep comparing it to the movies. Matter of fact, there's a documentary on Apple TV called War Games. And in the documentary, I only watched the trailer. So in the documentary, they talk about how they were wargaming the possibility of civil war. And that if the military actually turned around, what would they do? How would they respond? And it was a war game that was supposed to last 6 hours. And that they had 6 hours to turn the country back from being, or from going into civil war. So again, it's a documentary online called War Games. I thought those were bowling pins on your t-shirt. No, it's a paw. Right? Yeah, it's a paw. Blackwater. And the paw is the bear in the area that Blackwater operated in. I don't think they're there anymore. Moyock, North Carolina. And that area was heavy bear country. That was actually the first time I saw a bear, was in Moyock, North Carolina. Black bears. And so they took the paw and Blackwater because the water behind there is black. They're by swamp area as well. So they call it that for that reason. Bear's paw. Yeah, well, I mean, Mr. Beast is crashing right now. Holy shit. Talk about falling from grace. And everybody's like, yo, you better clean house, man. If you were like, I mean, and the thing is, people like he knew. I don't know if he did. I also don't care. Like, I talk about it because falling from grace, but at the same time, I don't care about any of that shit because, I mean, like, all right, maybe you should have distanced yourself from this dude as soon as he came out as trans. They're like, and this is Chris. You're out. You're out. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need that weirdo shit around here. You fucking weirdo, like, kick rocks. He would have did that shit, he would have lost 1 million fucking subscribers. He lost a lot of subscribers behind this. So he backs a transgender. If he would have kicked his transgender friend out, he'd have lost 1 million subscribers. He kept his transgender friend, he's losing millions of subscribers. He couldn't win. He was better off taking a stance and be like, yeah, I can't work with you. You're definitely psychologically unsound. There's something wrong with you. You got to bounce. Instead of doing that, he would have lost some subscribers, but he would have been fine. Now he's losing he's losing a lot. And people gave him the most dislikes in YouTube history. The thumbs down that I get like, 6, 8, 10. This motherfucker got millions of thumbs down on the recent video he just released. That hurts your video when you do that. The 6 that I get or the 10 that I get, it's not a big to do. But when you get millions, talk about getting kicked in the dick and ass raped at the same time. Holy shit. But yeah, that's exactly what's happening with him. Anyway, the division in America, guys, is going to keep us from fighting with local government. It's going to keep us from fighting the federal government. They want us to stay at each other's necks so that we're worried about the next move one another is making instead of looking at what they're doing here. For example, I just learned today, I didn't know this, but in New York City, let's see if I can tell this story correctly. In New York City, they want to put more trees in the city. So what they're doing with people, or blocks rather, is they're using a concrete saw and cutting squares out of the concrete, packing it with dirt so that they can put trees there, right? All right. And so a boss that I was speaking to at the fire department today, he tells me that they did that. They cut the concrete, but they didn't remove it. They just cut it. The cut is something like a couple of centimeters wide. An inspection team comes over, city inspection team comes over and go, oh, that's a tripping hazard. It is flush with the ground. There's no side coming up or down. It's flush. And they gave him a fine for that. So the parks department cut the fucking square in the ground, didn't remove the concrete, didn't plant the tree. Housing comes across, investigators come across, and they bang him with a ticket for a flush thing. So now he's got to pay this. Now he has to pay this money because of a situation that he didn't create. The Parks Department did. He goes to court. He tells them the Parks Department did it. The judge's rebuttal was, how do we know that that was the Parks Department? He's like, because I'm going to cut a square with what's saw in the ground and leave it there, right? And so, of course, he gets the Parks Department to try to admit that they did it, and they're playing stupid. So all this, guys, just to get more money out of the working class man here in New York. So if we band together, if Trumpsters and Kamala Harris whore squad comes together, we can fight the establishment. Because shit like that, so that they can get more money out of you, is insane. It's insane. I've never seen the amount of reach that they're doing here to make money. They're handing out tickets like it was okay. They're handing everybody with a fine. But if you are a migrant or illegal or you're poor, they don't hit you with any fines. In fact, you know what kind of fine they hit him with? They hit him with a fine. He had 2 lights on both sides of his door. He has 2 lights, and they hit him with a fine because one light was dimmer than the other one. And they hit him with a fine with that. So he got hit with 3 fines. The cut sidewalk. Oh, also, when they put a new cap in the ground for the gas, they didn't put the concrete in right, and when the concrete cured, the cap lifted up, making that a tripping hazard. He goes, I didn't do that. Con Ed did that, and they gave him a fine anyway. And they said you have to fix all 3 of these problems. Now, obviously, the light bulb he did, but the other 2 problems wasn't his. It was fucking guys in their pipes. They got a new law now with these pipes backfiring. But anyway, Denver was bad about parking tickets. They're bad about parking tickets here too. They're just sucking you dry, sucking the city. There are people parked on hydrants and they don't have parking tickets. But there are people who forget to pay the meter and they got parking tickets all over their shit. And your car is not registered correctly? Ticket. Oh, wait, you got what hanging over your plate? Ticket. There's a leaf on your fucking, they can give you a ticket for that. It's out of control. Out of control. Meanwhile, we're fighting with one another over bullshit when we should be banding together and fighting the local government over these illegal taxes and fines that they keep instilling on people. The problem is, Trumpsters and Kamala Harris whore group hate each other so much. Thank you, Johnny 308. They hate each other so much that we'll never get on the same page to fight this injustice where they're raping our pockets. Thank you. Who just said Johnny 308? Thank you for the heads up. And that's the pipes. The pipes are backfiring here. They do that as a thing here in New York. I don't understand why. But yeah, they have a new law now too to stop that. But we'll see. Yeah, like all of a sudden the thing, when they get under the bridge here, that's when they really give it juice because it echoes through the building. But no, it's not gunshots. So, quick story before we go off the air. Yesterday, I'm going to work. And as I'm going to work, I see a kid over here. So, the way my apartment building is situated, there's a balcony right here. If the kid comes out on the balcony, I can throw a rock and hit him in the head, right? So, he's on the balcony, the terrace. He's looking down, What the fuck's he looking at? He's on the phone. There's a fire in my building, man. There's a fire in my building. There's a lot of smoke coming out. So I look out the window and I see some smoke wafting up. I'm like, all right. I go to my terrace. I look down. I see fucking smoke pouring out of the fucking an apartment. I don't know, 14 stories, 16 stories below me. So I look down and I see the smoke and I don't think anything of it. I go, all right, not the big deal. But meanwhile, I shit you not, he's screaming. He's like, there's smoke coming out. What do I do? I'm like, I didn't say it to him because I had my windows closed. I'm like, stop being a bitch. We're in concrete apartment. An apartment like this, it's hard for it to catch fire unless, again, like I said before, it auto explodes. So anyway, the guy's carrying on acting like a bitch. All right, I'm packing as slow as I possibly can because I got to go to work. And when there's a fire in the elevator, they lock the elevators up, so you can't use the elevators. So anyway, I pack as slow as I possibly could to let them put the fire out, vent the stairways, the whole 9 yards. I look back off the terrace, the shit's still ripping. I'm like, what are they fucking doing? Manhattan companies. Anyway, I start getting down the staircase. I smell it. I start walking down further. I start seeing the smoke. I get closer. Now I can't see anything. I'm like, and over the years, your lungs adapt to the smoke. But then I started feeling some heat. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this now. I'm not fucking playing Macho Man. So I go to the next staircase because the next staircase was clear. So then I'm walking down the stairs, and then I almost slip because the fucking staircase is wet now because of all the water coming down of it. I'm like, I'm going to either die of smoke inhalation, get burned, or fucking slip and fall down the stairs. And of course, lo and behold, the crackheads are outside. You're doing what they do best, being annoying. All cracking and shit. What's going on, man? What the fuck do you think is going on? You see all these firefighters standing outside? When people say dumb shit like, what's going on? There's an army of motherfuckers standing in front of the building waiting to go upstairs and fight this fire, and you're asking what's going on? You know, it's the stupidest thing. Anyway, I get downstairs, I look up, fucking smoke still pouring out of the apartment. I'm like, what the fuck was going on in it? All that being said is that the fire's in the building, this kid's screaming about fire in my building, and I'm just like, yo, it's not that big of a deal, man. You'll be okay. You know? Take your tampon off, put a new one in, it'll be alright. It'll be easy. This guy was fucking, like, and we're fucking 16 stories above the fire. That's like the craziness about the whole thing. We're fucking, you know? And he's fucking, oh my God, there's a fire. I thought he was a gay man. I'm like, I didn't know I lived next door to a gay man. I look out my window and I'm like, and it's this kid I know. I'm like, why is he fucking between him and the fucking crackheads and then what's going on? You know, like, what do you think is going on? He's probably thinking in his head, I gotta get my cracks. I gotta get my cracks. Oh my God. I never seen anything like it. I was just like, what the fuck? When you see people panicking at fires, sometimes you look at them and you want to punch them in the fucking face. You know, just like, calm the fuck down. It ain't that serious. And other times you get it. When it's their apartment, you understand. But when it's not their apartment and they're fucking downstairs and the fire's downstairs, 12, 13, 14 stories below you, and you're panicking, you're like, did you march in a gay pride parade or do you own a Tesla? Which is it? Because I've never seen anything like it. Fucking people, man. Holy shit. Crackheads, what's going on, man? Is there something going on upstairs? There's smoke pouring out of the fucking fourth side of the building. There's a ton of firemen standing downstairs, and you're asking what's going on? No, you know what? Matter of fact, they're all looking to see your mother's burning vagina. That's what's fucking smoking out the place. Like, who the fuck says what's going on? As you see dudes standing around. Like, I love, man, when people watch us walk out of a building in our shorts, in our t-shirts. Is there a fire? I'm like, you think we go to fires just like t-shirts and shorts? What are we, fucking Superman? They're like, well, you know, it could be a fire. Dressed like this with no mask and air? People say the dumbest shit, man. Oh, you know what annoys me even more is when chicks are like, hey, hey, you sexy firefighter, why don't you come over here and put out this fire? I'm like, where? In my pants. That's called a venereal disease, lady. Please kick rocks. And it's always the ugly, fucked up ones, right? The ones that look like a raincoat and shit. They're like, hey, you look really sexy. Come here. No, I don't want to come here. Stay over there. And keep your burning vagina away from my dick. I don't want anything to do with you. It's always dumb. It's never the hot chick or the 10 that's like, hey, you're handsome. No, it's always the fucking crackhead. She's all fucking like, oh man, if I wasn't on crack, I'd suck your dick. You suck my dick for a Happy Meal. You kidding me? You know? It's always fucking those people, man. It's never anybody fucking cute. You know? Never. And they always harass us too. Oh my God, you guys are handsome. Thank you. And normally I just say thank you and I leave it alone. But when they get fucking like carried away, I'm like, yo, easy. It's not gonna happen. I'd rather bang Rosie O'Donnell before I bang you. Get away from me. Shoot. And it's all of us. It's not just me, but it's all of us. They like, oh, you guys are... No, we're not. Don't touch me, you know? They touch you with their hands. You feel like you got AIDS now, you know? You're like, oh, shit, do I got to cut my arm off? It was fucking crazy. Crazy. Just the shit that we experience on a fucking daily basis. And that's why you love the job. Because shit like that happens and you laugh about it in the end. You know, you go home, you start thinking about it, or you retell the story to the guys, you start laughing about it. Shit is fucking funny. A lot of this shit we see is funny, and then there's some things we see that are not so funny, but 90% of the times it's funny, you know? But yeah, fucking people always fucking, you know, with their stupid questions. And what do I do? Smoke is coming in this lady's window. The fire is fucking 5 blocks away. And she's like, I smell smoke in my apartment. Okay, there's a fire down the block. When you guys are going to turn off the fire? We're going to turn off the fire in 5 minutes. Boop, fire's off. You know, and she's like, yeah, but is it going to stay on for a long time? I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, what does this lady keep saying it's on for? She's like, well, what do I do? I said, lady, suck it up. It'll be okay. She's like, but I don't like the smell. I was ready to lose my patience, and I walked out of the apartment. I couldn't handle it anymore. The stupidity level you see it's out of control. Out of control. How do I handle this? Just close your fucking windows. But it's still coming inside. Shut up and watch TV. You'll be okay. Oh my God. Yeah, it's amazing some of the shit we see and you hear. Sometimes you don't hear it. You come back into work, you hear a stupid story. You're like, what? They said who? People say the dumbest shit. You guys are gonna, you know, turn the fire off? Yes, we're gonna turn it off. There's a switch on the wall, and when we get inside, we'll hit the switch and the fire will go off. I'm like, yo. And the thing is, guys, it's low-income neighborhoods where you see stupidity. It's just, it is what it is. And people hate admitting it. But it's low-income neighborhoods where you see it. You see that shit in white low-income neighborhoods. White people say, hey, boy, is the fire going to go off or not? You're like, oh, shit. No, snaggletooth. It's not going to go off. We got to fucking put it out, you know? Whatever. Crackheads and stupid... Yeah, crackheads and stupid people, man. It don't get any better than that. Any feds in the chat? So, if you're not a fed, do me a favor, guys. Hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. I suspect I'll never hit Mr. Beast level with thumbs down, but whatever it is, guys, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I'm going to go off the air now, head over to the Angry Truth channel. We're going to talk about being ready to go to jail if Kamala Harris wins. Yeah. Not that that's going to happen, but the possibility of it happening is there. Anyway, guys, other than that, thank you for joining me. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit. I will see some of you guys over in the Angry Truth channel. I'll see the rest of you guys, I think, next week, Tuesday. If not, next week, Monday. Whenever I'm off or not working. All right, guys, thank you, and see some of you guys later.